Cheese boys, cheese girls, and the cheese gang. You are now listening to Popcorn and Cheese.
Popcorn and cheese, call boy like friends like these.
Oh,
I like-
yes,
I like
you
that you-
cycle like ridiculous Ks.
I was just kidding, but yes.
Wait, when you said Ks, you mean like kilojoules?
You see, when you come from Walkerville,
That's what happened, bruh.
That's crazy.
So I lost 100,000 Rand check. And the title and the winner of So You Think You're Fine.
I'm a weird, I don't like talking. I don't.
This guy
Has a mic in front of his mouth. I don't love talking.
Do you know what I love about Premier League soccer?
Yeah.
Everyone on the field has a portraits. These are athletes.
Do you know what I love about Showmax? Is that we're watching the Premier League on my phone.
Bruh, in the park.
Taverwa.
How much is this?
This one. 69 rand a month.
And you can have it anyway.
Nah, mobile. Premier League.
So this is all Showmax, dog.
You understand? And with the local content and the international content, that's 39 rand.
So that's for all the shows.
Yeah. But Premier League,
And
69.
movies.
Guys, this is so crazy that we're watching this thing here. Like,
In a park.
I remember a time when I wasn't even allowed to touch the remote.
Hey, no. I used to be the signal for the household TV. I was the area.
Me, I used to be the content. You see this content you're watching now on my phone? Premier League. Now I was.
Robert. Robert.
Hey, continent on the come on.
Yeah, Get driver. Robert. Asporegela in
Oh.
Was.
Mtshana.
Awubonisa umalume usiKwaziNeka ke.
Asibone.
Ubheke.
Uthembise.
Awushaya nespin kick lesi uba Jackie
Jet Li. Hayi Nkosi yami.
Uvela
Yenza nomlomo khona. I'm not your father.
mjayivani manje oza
Mshana wakho njalo.
ukumbuza wena yodwa kumjayiva kanjena
Hawu, ngifuna ukumtesta mina ke. Mfana, awusenzele indaba.
yes boss esisixhosa mfana boss
When I was an area, a whole area, my whole family shouting at me, move this way.
right
mama awufundanga ma left lo.
yeah left papa left yeah kwale now choshalo wena khuluma nami right boy life baba awukhulumi nawe
uyayona ngithekibela isitulo nje.
Nah, gents. Sometimes I'd be ready to watch something. Back in the days, the good shows were on at a certain time, and it was the same time as the news.
Bob. Suke lapho.
abantu abashagalolunye ngesikhathi ibhasi abebehamba ngalo ligingqike emgwaqeni u-R33 phakathi kwefilile nedumbe enyakatho yesifundazwe KwaZulu-Natal endathakusa namhlanje.
Yeah. For more entertainment, drama, and exciting Premier League action, download Showmax, streaming for Africa.
Gents.
Wait,
yeah.
why is our father so day?
All our fathers are. Wait, guys, let me
Why
pause
do
this.
all? Why are our
Premier
fathers
League.
the same?
No ways.
Does your
What's
father's number end with a 7724?
Guys.
Gents.
So that's why the height.
What's your father's name?
Job.
No. Jabulani.
Jablani.
I thought the J stood for
Junior.
Robo Pops. I'll be my cheese girl and my cheese boy there. We motivate, then we laugh as well. Stay on brand, never hard to sell. Got real chats, now my LOL. So we both got gang and we blessed as hell. Siyadlala story. Petting on my guest, and nice and more. You want my bundles, not of joy. Said it's some pop pops and robot boy.
Popcorn and cheese.
Yeah?
Popcorn and cheese. Popcorn and cheese.
You trying to this one?
Popcorn and cheese. Call it one like friends like these. Popcorn and cheese. Popcorn and cheese. Popcorn and cheese. Call it one like friends like these.
Chris Forrest.
Aich!
You're a natural, man.
Natural.
Natural.
A man who lives what he is. He's the sound guy, so he's naturally his head is shaped like a microphone.
Extra cushion.
Soundproof for the brain.
during the acoustics.
Which one is this one?
It's better than egg boxes.
It's better than?
You know those places used to have egg
Oh, the
boxes.
egg boxes.
Oh, yeah. The old
And they all
studios.
like thought that was the soundproofing, but it just showed you ate a lot of eggs.
Especially with the egg crisis now. That's
Exactly.
what Chris said.
There's a lot of protein in this house.
You hear what Chris said? He said exactly.
Exactly.
I guess the yolks on you.
This episode you're gonna have to be on Barge-ish.
The very contradiction statements.
Tsitsi.
Yeah.
Bruh, you know what? For a lot of your conspiracy theories, like people always laugh at you, but you were right. That egg thing was a nonsense conspiracy.
Told you.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like I don't know about the egg thing, but
The price of eggs went up because they said the eggs had
There was a shortage.
contraceptives.
No, man, they said the eggs had bird flu.
So you couldn't trust the eggs.
Yeah, then they said there was a scarcity of eggs. Then people weren't baking or making bread or whatnot. Yeah, Woolworths. Eggs went up.
but in Walkerville, where it's a lot of farmers that have chickens, same prices, especially like if you buy from people.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll still sell the eggs at the same price. But if you go to the spa, it's like 99 for half dozen.
But if you have to weigh it up, living in Walkerville versus paying more for eggs.
I'd pay for more.
I'd pay more for eggs.
More eggs.
I won't. I pay more for eggs and chicken.
You wouldn't live in Walkerville, period.
No, I would. Nobody would truly live
in Walkerville and work in Joburg. Cheese boys, cheese girls, and the cheese gang. Welcome to a super splendiferous special episode of Popcorn and Cheese. Ladies and gentlemen, before I introduce this powerhouse sitting in the seat today, it gives me great honor and pleasure to introduce the man behind the chair. Ladies and gentlemen, a man who's been paying the same price for eggs for the past 6 years. Please put your digital hands together. Help me welcome a man who doesn't even actually pay for eggs. He just trades with his neighbors. Farmer, comedian, writer, Comics Choice nominee, the legend amongst legend. A man who's from a town that has, what does it have? Barricades around tombstones. Please put your hands together. Give it up for the one and only Tsitsi Turmeric, the Barbarian. Aich! And ladies and gentlemen, half man, half machine. A robot who is a boy. A man who's got half a white jacket and half Esther Mahlangu. It gives us great honor and pleasure to introduce a man whose father was a poet and his mom was his mom. And together they made him, Robot the boy, the Decepticon from Kasi. Please put your hands together, make some noise for the one and only Robot Boy.
Jesus.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one that stands in front of the line, leading the soldiers on with his army vest, the one that you never show because it's the one you wear under what you really want to show. the leader of all leaderships, the captain who steers all the ships, wearing his Nike shoes, who's always stays correct, stand-up comedian who's sitting down so that he's understood but not underrated, host with the most, hosting every TV show, the unmasked Mzege of Mask Singer. Pops, Morikwane!
Yeah, you know. And now, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. We're with a legend. Comedy royalty. Dog of dogs. When they talk about Izinja Zeke, they speak about our guest. Some have confused him for Natanya. And we said, no, that's not it. Others were like, Evita Pezet. We said, no, that's not it. Ladies and gentlemen.
No.
John Smith. Yeah.
John Smith.
Matthew Booth.
Ladies and gentlemen, sitting in our chair, we have legendary comedian, Masterchef, Mamela, entrepreneur in the property sector. It gives us great honor and pleasure to introduce Kwaito Star.
Yes.
Kwaito Star.
And a father.
A
present one.
A present one.
A father. A hero.
A husband. A present one.
A present husband.
Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. Give it up for the one and only Chris Forrest.
Jesus.
I forgot one very important thing.
Yeah.
My comedy mentor. Yes.
Yes, me too.
Yes.
Me too.
Yes. Yes. This man literally taught me how to deliver comedy. But we'll get into that just now. Uncle Chris, we've got cheese boys and cheese girls out there who are watching you in those two cams. Those are your cams. Please, could you look into that camera? Tell us who you are. Full name.
Number plate.
Everything. And what it is you do.
Christopher Emmerich David Forrest.
Emeralds.
Emmerich. I think.
Which one is this one?
I'm a comedian. Everything pop set now.
Oh, wait.
That's what I do.
Oh, wait.
And a little bit more.
Tell us about that a little bit more.
No, that's it. No,
Tell us more.
There's no more. Well, obviously, I'm an athlete. Yes. People don't mention that.
Oh, I like that you cycle like ridiculous Ks.
I was just kidding, but yes.
Wait, when you said Ks, you mean like kilojoules?
You see, when you come from Walkerville,
nothing runs through your mind. It's just walking through.
Yeah, they haven't got to the metric system there yet. It's okay, though. It's okay. Also, I like that you compared me to Matthew Booth. I used to get that a lot.
Oh yeah, you almost became like a professional footballer.
I nearly became a professional footballer. There was just two things that held me back. I had an injury to my one knee and like a massive lack of talent.
Oh man, not the mess.
Yeah. I mean, the PSL doesn't need any of that. So.
No.
I know, my brother, we made it.
Make a cheesecake now.
That's more important.
Wow.
Is that how you won the Masterchef?
No. I don't know how I won the Masterchef. To this day, there was a lot involved. We'll just leave it at that. Also, Tolas, do you know Mongezi?
Yeah.
Totally through the competition, but he'll never admit that. But I know he did.
Oh, yes, because that's where his whole thing actually stems from, that season.
Oh, when he's talking about the Masterchef or the reality show, that's what he's talking about.
Yes.
Wow.
How crazy is that, bro?
Yeah, this is a MacG type conversation.
Uncle Chris, I want to start in the beginning, man. Like, oh my goodness. This is what happens when you hire people from KZN.
Wait, that was D's, Vendor.
No, that was not Vendor. That's KZN. Vendor knows.
Yeah.
On the whole laptop. Not them going.
Uncle Chris, I want to start from the beginning. And the really dope thing about comics is that, especially comics from your generation, my generation, is that the origin stories of how people got into comedy are so hectic and weird. No one has the same story of like, I just went to go do an open mic. And what did the comedy scene look like when you started, and how did you get in?
Okay, so when I started, I'm going to say the year and then you guys can say where you were at that time in your lives.
All right.
1999.
Titi wasn't born.
Titi was born because
I was born.
I hate every comic who was born after I started comedy. Titi was born. He's fine.
I was born.
99.
1999.
I was in Standard 5, grade 7.
You were there with in that Greenside Primary vibes.
With Mojack.
Yeah.
Hectic.
So there was a lady who I quite fancied.
Hey.
I know, it's crazy. And then there was a place at what was then called the Randburg Waterfront. That's how you know it's a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's not even Brightwater Commons
Brightwater
anymore.
Commons.
It's changed name twice since then. It's now
It's no more Brightwater.
Yeah.
Ferndale on Republic.
Oh.
Ferndale.
I thought it was named after Mandela.
Ki Eben Brew.
There we go.
Ki Eben Brew.
That's right. So there was a place there called the Funny Farm. And then they had this thing where the comedians would go on, and at the start of the second half, they said to anyone in the crowd, if you want to come tell a joke, and whoever tells the funniest joke will win a 6-pack. So obviously, I worked, I don't want to brag. I worked at that point in my life at the multi-choice call center.
Yeah.
So, which meant I spent all day, every day on the internet consuming jokes because porn was hard to come by. And it, sad but true. So if your DSTV was in trouble in the late 90s...
You were the guy to call.
No, I was the guy who probably told you, just switch it off and wait 10 minutes and call back. So then I was there, right?
Yeah.
And the lady, I was like, I'm going to go on stage. I know a lot of jokes. I'm going to tell a joke. She's going to laugh because I'm going to win this thing. And she'll love me and we'll live happily ever after. Boom. So I went on stage. I told the joke. Nobody laughed. She dumped me. And
so you died and got your heart broken.
I say she dumped me. We never got together. But I don't think the two were related. The joke wasn't that bad. But no, so I got my heart broken. But then I got a cool comedy career out of it. And she's got a cuck life now. I don't know what she's doing. But anyway, actually I do. And that's how I know it's a cuck life. Yeah!
You're still watching a private account on Facebook.
What? Nothing?
Could have been us.
And so then I went back because even though I died, I was like, okay, this wasn't too bad. But I was broke then because I was working in a call center. And I went back like a week or so later, and then I tried again, and I ended up winning. And then
so you finally got the 6-pack.
I won the 6-pack because I was also studying at the time. I was studying sports management, obviously. And
yeah, no, you look like
that laugh was a bit mean from the. Who's the man in the corner there giggling?
That's Matthew.
Thanks, Matthew.
And he's in the booth, that's like.
And he's in the booth.
Hey.
Booth.
All right, so now, and then I went back like a third time because now I was like, this is a cool way to get beer. And then I came tied with a guy called Ryan Whittle.
Ryan Whittle,
you guys might know.
He used to pull out cabbage out of his pocket.
That's him, yes. And then the MC on the night was a guy called Darren Moore, who's also
first
gone out.
First person I ever saw on stage.
And then he came to me while I was at the urinal, and he was like, "Hey man, you got to start doing stand-up." And then I was like, "Yeah, but I'm kind of busy now. Can you wait?" And then he did. And then he sat there and he spoke to me. And I don't know if you ever went to the bathroom in the Funny Farm toilets, but it's not exactly pristine. But we had like a 20, 30-minute conversation there, and he convinced me in the toilet while he sat on the basin before I could even wash my hands. And then then he convinced me. So he said to me, come back, and he hooked me up with a spot in 2 weeks' time. And then I was super nervous. And then I almost didn't do it because there was another comedian. His name was Dale Amla or Dale Abrahams.
Dale Amla.
Not the young Jewish dude, he's a colored guy.
Dale Abrams.
Dale Abrams.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were like, the owner of the place was like, sorry, I gave your spot to him. And I was like, whoa, okay, cool. And then Darren was like, no, that guy's shit. Let him on. And then that's how I started.
Yo,
that's crazy.
That's so crazy. You know, we had Joey on the one episode, right? And he was talking a lot about like how there was a time with your generation of comics where there was actually no industry, right? There was no proper comedy industry or infrastructure, rather. And there was certain amount of shows that one could do. And then there was also the formation of what we know today as the PMS crew. How did you sort of get into that?
Find yourself
to the
inside.
PMS crew?
Yeah.
So now keep in mind when PMS started, I'd already been doing comedy for about 4 years.
Okay.
And then even though a lot of the guys, the sort of, I'm going to use big words here, the nucleus of the PMS crew came from like David and Kagiso were the main two guys, and Tsepo. They were all Cape Town based to start. When they shot the pilot, it was. But I'd worked with
Because Kagiso and David studied in Cape Town. Pi stayed in Cape Town.
Koki. Who else was there?
Falco.
Loiso was also
in Cape Town, yes.
But then I'd worked with them on things like, because there weren't a lot of comedians back then. So if you were fairly decent, you got onto all the big gigs. So we did all the heavyweight comedy jams and the Winston King sizes and everything. And a lot of the guys we would...
Smirnoff,
etc. Then we would travel between the cities as well. So I knew David and I knew Kagiso, I knew Tsepo, I knew Loy, all of them, especially guys like Ronnie Madimula and me. In those days, we were Joe Parker's youngsters.
Yeah.
So he used to send us to all those cheap gigs. So me and Ronnie I had a cuck Ford Laser in those days, this blue Ford Laser.
Ford Laser.
Ford Laser, don't mock it.
Wait, didn't you have a Langley before the Laser?
I did indeed have a Langley before the Laser.
He loves L's.
Yeah.
Laser, Langley, I did have an L sign again.
You must see a Langley. It looks like someone drew it with a protractor. You must...
Do not mock my Langley was awesome. That I don't know if you guys know a guy called he's now called Glenn Bow. He used to be called Glenn Buerta.
I know, we know Glenn Bow, yes.
And I was in high school with the dude. And then afterwards we'd go out and his parents made me drop, despite crime or whatever, they were like, you drop that dude 2 blocks away because your exhaust is too loud. Hectic. But anyway, what was I talking about? So me and Ronnie traveled a lot together, so I knew all the guys. Yeah. And then David and Kagi had spoken to me during one of the heavyweights. They said they're doing this show and they want me to be involved in everything. But I don't want to say there was only one space for a Caucasian.
But there was one space for a Caucasian man.
That was taken up by Koki Falcro. And so I did the very first sketch that they shot, which was the very first one that they showed. I don't know how well you guys remember PMS.
We remember it vaguely. What was that first sketch?
I'll tell you the sketch. So there's a whole bunch of guys coming down the road and they're going, one settler, one bullet. And then there's this very Afrikaans-looking man, which is apparently me, who comes out of his house and he's like getting the milk. And then I think it was David then like shoots at me because it's one settler, one bullet. And he misses. And he's like, oh man, I don't have another bullet. And that was the sketch. The gag. It was a lot funnier. There was a dialogue and everything. But then I was just part of that and I was like, this is awesome. So I went home and I just like wrote sketches.
Yeah.
Some of them was like you can see on if you watch the greatest hits, things like Dion Puster,
making fun of Leon Schuster,
yeah.
So the Car Guard sketch.
No, that's which one?
You were in the Car Guard sketch, though.
Yes, Ronnie wrote that one.
Okay.
Just a 10 random lungu, just one random
that's
lungu.
from the mind of Ronnie Madimula.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Giving them your phones, your wallet. No, I don't want them lungu things with the skin. I don't want your phone.
Now we're talking opening of Parliament.
Yeah. He literally just wanted a 1 rand.
It was a 10 rand.
10 rand,
10 rand.
And then the other one that was quite famous was the Mangosuthu speech, Mangosuthu Buthelezi speech.
Yes, that was you.
Yeah.
Damn.
No, I wrote a whole bunch and then I like just sent them to everyone going, guys, I want to be on a show. So then Koki got upset with the way things were going and he left. And then
you're like, I see you guys need a Caucasian.
We're sitting in Cool Runnings and David Carr was sitting in front of me. And you guys were too young for Cool Runnings, but it was brilliant. Yeah. And he leaned back. He was like, we've got a space for a white guy on the team. Are you interested? I was like, yes, I will do that. And that's how I started. They'd already like shot 3 episodes by the time I got in the mix.
So how did comedy look like before that? Because you say you've been doing 4 years
For 4 years,
before
yes.
PMS.
So like there was only essentially when I started, there was the Funny Farm that I spoke about. And then Joe Parker used to run Hurricanes on a Thursday. And then guys don't give Joe Parker credit, but he used to go club to club and say, please have a comedy night here.
Yeah.
And then after 2 or so years, Carnival City went, okay, we'll do a Carnival. Because we did a lot that you do one and then never again. And then Carnival City said every week. And Carnival City, if you think Walkerville's bad, Brakpan. And then we were there, and then it became really, really popular. So it was Friday and Saturday. And then it kind of grew. And there's guys I still think, like David Cow, did champion comedy for the black dudes, that he doesn't get credit for because he tried also. He gave everything. And then John Vlismus opened Cool Runnings that we mentioned. And then slowly but
Comedy
surely,
Underground,
there was a place before that in Melville called the Foundation Cafe.
Yeah.
And that was the precursor to Colin Moss, I think, actually used to run that one.
Jeepers, Colin Moss.
And that was also in Melville. And then came
There was something in town where Trevor Gumbi and Eugene and Dumi Morake sort of started. It was in town somewhere.
There was I must tell you about a different one. So it was a crazy one for me. There's a place in Doornfontein.
East side of town.
Called the Jungle Connection.
What?
That place doesn't even sound.
That sounds like there was a halftime show.
So it was a poetry night.
Sounds like
And then Roddy Marimola said to me, he said, there's poetry here, but come through, we can do comedy when other people do poems.
What? Maybe your dad hosted. His dad is Mzwake Mbulu.
So I always spoke about him a lot on PMS.
I know, that's ironic.
But then, and then like it was a little bit intimidating because, like times have changed. But in those days, that was the first time when I was the only white guy with a room full of black guys.
Yeah.
And then it was like you walked in and it was like all these slogans like one settler, one bullet and Africa's for the blacks and da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I'm going to come up and tell you some jokes now. And then it went very well.
Yeah.
But not really. But anyway.
That's so crazy.
Time,
like how for 4 years you had spaces where you could do comedy. Because that's actually one of the first DVDs I watched. It wasn't even a DVD. It was, I'm old, bro. It was a VHS.
You're not that old.
Of comedy.
Yeah.
Was it the Joe Parker one?
It was a Joe Parker one. When Chris was on, you were wearing a bow tie, I think.
Bro, I've never rewinded comedy in my life. When I started watching comedy, you couldn't rewind it. Like...
Is that the reference? You couldn't rewind.
It was Chris Forrest. There was Ronnie on there. There was a couple of other guys.
Billy Prince
was on there. Billy Prince used to do impersonations, but like to the T. And he had no front teeth.
He had no...
Is that what I was to the T?
He used to do, but like he used to do... Now, Billy Prince is a person of color. Nobody knows his origin. But he would do F.W. de Klerk and...
Elvis. You do international.
He did Bob Marley.
Did
Billy Graham talking to a Spanish translator, which was weird.
That's crazy.
He did Eugene de Blanche.
Yeah.
Who were the biggest? Desmond Tutu, Nelson Mandela. He did everyone.
And that's, he didn't have material. He just come on stage and do the voices.
Yeah.
Like he didn't have in-between gags and build up to the voice. He just did the voices and it killed.
Every single time. And sometimes he would do it for about 2 hours, depending on how high he was.
Do you think he noticed that it was 2 hours?
No, because he was high.
Damn.
That's crazy, bruh. That is so crazy.
What would you say the experiences that you learned while being in the PMS era are things that you're still applying to this day?
Depending on where you put it. The PMS era was...
A long time ago.
It's you want to feel old. That was 20 years ago. If you think of 21. Damn, that's the same age as Titi.
I'm old.
I think it opened my eyes. This is a comedy podcast, right?
Yeah.
I'm going very serious yet. It opened my eyes a lot to my life and how I interacted with people. because obviously now we're shooting a lot in, like we did Survivor Alexander.
Yes, Survivor Kwamashu.
Survivor Kwamashu.
Yeah.
We worked in Soweto. Like we did all of that stuff, and like then I was like, okay, this is not what they told us growing up. This is just these are people.
Sure.
I know that's going to sound hectic to you guys, but that's literally crazy how you were brought up in apartheid South Africa. It's like, if you go in there, they'll kill you, and you're like, oh no.
You're doing club gigs in there. You're doing Ozone there.
Okay, nobody's killed me, but I have died in Ozone.
Smart.
I get it. I never died in Ozone. I rocked that place. The barman nearly killed me because at the end of the night when they're like, listen, Chris, we don't have any money to pay you. Here's 100. Like, okay, cool. How's my bar tab? It's 200.
100 rand short. You couldn't keep it 100.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's crazy that I love hearing from, especially from those days of comedy, right? Is all these like rock star stories that you'd hear. Like you'd hear things like, I've heard John Flismus once parked a car inside of a hotel
on the steps.
What? Yeah.
He had a rental car. Sorry.
It was a rental. Yeah.
He drove the car up the steps into where the foyer is and walked through the door, and he said to the guy at reception, please park the car for me. Walked to his room and went to bed.
That's crazy.
How crazy is that?
You can't park the car, dude.
My favorite rock star story of all time is Chris Forrest and Mark Lottery.
Wait, I want to hear the story.
This one sounds like it's
my favorite story of all time.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Please.
You have to be more specific, though.
Oh, okay, yeah, because there's many.
Damn.
It's the story where you guys were, I think Mark was the MC.
Oh, when he started the show again?
Yes. Yeah.
As I said, there's many Mark Lottery stories.
Yeah.
I love the dude. So we were doing a festival in Cape Town. It was the Vodacom Funny Festival. And so part of the thing was there was a restaurant that sponsored us lunch. And so we decided on that day, let's go to the restaurant because let's have lunch. And then we stayed at the restaurant until just before the show. But we might have had more than lunch. And so...
yeah.
Many.
So now we get to the gig and obviously we're doing great. And then Mark goes out and there's a whole thing that you got to do, and like you stick to your routine at these festivals a lot of the time. So he's like, welcome to blah, 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 blah. And then I went on and I didn't think anything of it. And then Mark goes on again at halftime and he's like, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. And he started just from scratch because he didn't realize he'd already done the first half. And then...
he's like reopening a show. That's halfway through.
And then I thought maybe I got away with it. But the guy who organizes the festival is a guy called Eddie Kassar. And Eddie Kassar is a really nice guy. And he comes to me and he goes, and he's very complimentary. He says, Chris, last night the show was. So I think he's complimenting me. So I said, thank you, Eddie. And he goes, tonight I need it to be.
Yeah.
Like, okay, gotcha.
And Eddie is a big one on lifestyle. Like he also he likes people that maybe don't indulge in certain things. Like he cares about what you do outside of comedy. For him to kind of have you on. Like for the Cape Town Comedy Fest a couple of years ago, he inquired about me, but hey, I was still in my Rockstar phase in Cape Town. Time he calls me, I'm like hungover in the morning. I'm like, hello? And he's like, is this TC? I'm like, yeah. It's like, I'm like, yo, I'm just a bit tired now. Then I told a friend of mine that I'm too hungover to go see him. I never got the booking.
Lesson of the day?
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't learn nothing at the time.
What job?
Still living my life. I'm joking, but yeah, no. I have cut down a lot.
The lesson of the day is to not answer your phone when you're hungover.
Yeah.
Yes, enjoy your hangover.
That's
alone.
That's how I got to do Parkers for the first time. I was at home.
And then he phoned Tsitsi and he was hungover.
No, Tsitsi was in school.
Okay.
He was in school at
Okay,
that time.
now let's try Pops.
No, so Joe called me. It was actually Darren who called me. And he's like, yo, are you busy? And I was still living in Windsor at the time. And I just put a 6-pack of black labels in the freezer just to get them.
So comedy in 6 packs.
Hey, but you know when all week you've been putting together, Brad, and then there was a special. I think it was 99 Rand.
For 6?
No, I think it was 99 Rand for a case. I can't remember. But I just put 6 in the thing. Darren Moll calls, he goes, are you busy? I go, no, I'm just chilling at home. I'm about to, get in, relax. He says, bruh, Joe Parker's going to call you. Someone just canceled on him. And he needs you to be at the show now. I'm like, now? He's like, yeah, you need to come now. That time I don't have a car. I must go to Monte Casino. The sun is setting. Taxis are going to finish.
Maxi?
I don't know. Who do you phone to?
Maxi.
Right?
Someone 3 clipper to go to the corner.
And I'm going to go do an open spot. Brad Joe Parker calls me. He goes, look, I've got a spot for you. Darren is vouching for you. I've never seen you perform personally. Can you make it? I'm like, yeah, I'll be there. Put down the phone. I'm like, yo, how much? Still had a blue and orange Nokia. I can't remember what.
5220.
Some one of those, bruh. So I'm in the shower holding that phone like this because phones weren't waterproof those days. Trying to phone a Maxi. Trying to phone someone who might know a Maxi.
A friend with the City Golf.
Nothing, bruh. Trying to phone JP. I lived with JP at the time to see if he can take. He's not around. Bruh, I literally caught the last taxi to Monte Casino from Randburg. I had to walk, catch it. Got there. CRB had cancelled on Joe Parker and he had like a proper slot.
Proper slot, yeah.
I went in, bruh. Killed. Right? I had like a phenomenal evening. And Joe was like, that was great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Amazing.
Thank you.
Handshake.
Pops.
Boom. Cash.
Coins.
How much?
I think it was like 5 clip or something.
Yeah.
But like I never, because at Parkers you do like open spots for like 2 years before you start.
Before you get paid, yeah.
Joe paid me.
And he gave you the handshake.
Gave me the handshake. So now at least the handshake, I had enough money for a Maxi home. By the time I got home, because immediately after my set, I got into a Maxi, I went home. Like my life had changed after that. I got home just in time to open the black label. It hadn't frozen over.
What good? That's the best part of that story.
The reward.
At the end of the day.
Yeah. Chris, I saw you do this other interview with this other man, this old man. This other is another old white man, but he's older.
There's a lot of them.
But it's a
what is going on?
Wait.
You have to narrow it down.
On the couch with comedian celebrity. It was a CNBC interview.
Okay.
With this other old white man. I watched that interview. That guy was the most awkward person ever. like I don't know, like you're awkward, like not like in a nice way.
He's funny.
Which one is this one?
This is observations.
Okay, in a nice way.
Yeah. That man, like he said some weird stuff during the interview. Like he said something like, you were talking about kids in Parktown boys or some school. And then he was like, hey, yeah, I enjoyed the boys. And then you were like, hey. Bruh, okay. Go watch.
So you prepared quite thoroughly for this.
Yeah, no, I'm very quite prepared.
He just forgot the day. He prepared thoroughly.
What the guy said. But beside that, you nailed it.
He doesn't know the guy's name, but he knows he liked boys.
What's the question?
No, but like...
I think my answer to that is yes. Yes, definitely.
I'm done. I'm no longer talking.
So Chris, when did you get your first big break, right? Because you worked at a call center, telling people to switch on and off their decoders.
Doing comedy.
You started doing comedy. You're still balancing your job, right? When did you catch your first big break? And was it in the form of a TV show or was it in the form of an ad?
It depends on what you consider a big break.
Something that makes you leave your job.
No.
So from your
that was
experience.
when I left my job it was actually Joe Parker. He phoned me. I had tonsillitis, so I'd just been booked off work, and he said, "Chris, can you come in?" So I was like, "Obviously."
See, that's what you do in comedy, buddy.
So he said, "Listen, I've got some gigs for you, but you can't carry on doing your day job if you."
Hectic.
And then it was 2 weeks at the that casino in PE, Tebeja, what's it? You know the one.
Yes. No. It's brand new. PE. It's Boardwalk.
It was still a construction site. They just opened. And we had to do 3 shows a day for 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks in Cape Town doing the Smirnoff.
Yes.
And then, so I was like, okay, cool. And then it was funny because like just a week before that, I'd been given this like sort of lateral promotion by the company I was working for. And they said, we're gonna train you up and everything, spend money training you. You're not gonna just leave us for this comedy thing you're doing. I was like, no, never. Only guys like Barry Hilton can make a living. And then Joe phoned me. I was like, I didn't even have the balls to resign. I just never went back.
Yeah. So you still work there. They're hearing the full story.
And then then they phoned me and it was perfect timing because I was like, yeah, happy days. I'm like full time now, even though that tour didn't pay magnificently well. Then it was more than what I was earning in the call center.
Yeah.
Then I ran out of money pretty quickly, as one does. And then they phoned me and they're like, listen, we've got a check here for your pension contributions. Do you want to come get it? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
You had to go in the building to get it.
Yeah, because you ran
from
away.
my supervisor.
The walk of shame. 95 edition.
So that was when I quit. But then my first big break would have either been my first ever heavyweight comedy jam was a big one for me. Then I did a series, PMS was a massive one for me. And then I did a series of adverts for Sassel that just were a whole other thing.
What did you do on the Sassel ads again?
I was Joe, the volunteer coach. So it was pretty cool because
I'm at Look.
it was like after that. So it was the Olympics. And then I had like a sort of knowledge of sports because, as I said, I studied sports. And so like, then they said, come, we audition.
I remember these.
And then I just spoke the biggest load of
There
was a few. There was a lot of them. It was during
you in the headband. That image is the...
Are you sure that wasn't PMS?
Oh, okay, snap.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Because like I'm getting like these, because we were young at the time.
So there was the famous ones. There was one with the boxer. Where because people used to shout these lines at me constantly. The line was punch him in the head.
Yeah.
And then there's another one, don't swim into the wall.
Yes.
And I kept calling the chick Mandy, as in Mandy Lewitz, who was one of our top swimmers at the time. But you know who that chick was, who I was shouting at?
Don't say Detroit.
Natalie Detroit.
Charlene Whitstock, who is now the Princess of Monaco.
Princess.
Of Monaco. The one.
She was Monaco?
Yes. The South African.
She's from here.
Yes, she married the prince.
But yes, and they had to, I kept going, Mandy, and the director came to me and said, her name is Charlene, you idiot. I was like, oh, sorry about that.
And action, Mandy!
Yeah, I know, right? You know those ones.
No ways. And then, so when did you do the Toyota? You were the dog on Toyota.
I was the...
with the nice teeth.
Thank you.
Yeah. The dog.
The dog.
That was my teeth.
The dog had amazing.
Oh, yeah, the nice teeth.
But that came much later. That was such a fun campaign.
Thank you, the dog.
What was the first one was David Gow in the Taz.
So yeah, that was a whole other thing. Yeah, and then much later they Buddy the Boxer.
Buddy the Boxer was more in the bucky.
He would box, but he did all the cars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we need to put all these
I want to say
clips
2010. That came.
Is it?
Yeah, and then it ran for like 2-3 years.
So with David in the Taz, were you still a dog or?
No, the dog came after David.
Oh, it came after.
So I had to follow David.
The dog was now.
Yeah, we did it again now.
Yeah.
Because remember, their factory got flooded,
Uh-huh.
and then they went back. Just gonna put it out there to their favorite ever advert, which was the dog. And then he did the whole thing about we're back, and then
wait, who Toyota's flooded?
They don't get newspapers in Walkerville.
No, they don't.
No, just news.
Farmers Weekly.
Their factory is based in KZN, so all the like Hiluxes and what in the world actually are made there. And then the factory flooded, and then they had to close down for I think 6 months. And then they managed to open up again against all odds by like the end of August that year. And then they did an advert to say, because people wanted to buy Toyotas, but they couldn't.
Because of the backlog.
Because there's no
the factory.
Yeah, they had to now start trying to import cars and whatever. So they did the advert to say, thank you for waiting, we're back.
That's so That's so hectic how after working with a brand for that many years, you can still come back and do something like that. Repeat business, bro. It goes to show the type of relationship you maintain with specific brands, right?
Yeah, because like I did it my way.
Wow.
I see that. That's hard.
Titi doesn't get it.
Shots. Titi.
My way. Oh.
Not everything can go your way. Bro, it's what you like saying about repeat value, or there's this phrase, man, that you say about episodes and content that you produce.
Yeah. No. So you must, if you're gonna create something, it must be so dope that people want to watch it again.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think
that's your phone.
Was that my phone?
Yeah.
Can't be.
It is. That ringtone.
My phone is here.
It's 35 plus.
How did you say that ringtone is 35 plus?
Ring. There's a band in your phone when it rings. A band. A full
metronome trick track.
It was a 1, 2, 3.
Tom, son. Tom. We're here with Uncle Chris.
Yes.
You are talking about bands here. Chris. So how soon after all of this, right, does the show So You Think You Are Funny come? And what conversation did you have with David Gao around your role on the show?
So the season 1 of So You Think You're Funny, John Barker was directing it. John Barker was the guy from PMS.
Yes.
And he was actually, I don't know whether it was via David or not, but he was the one who said, can you come in and do some sort of mentoring for a couple of episodes, et cetera, et cetera. And then I kind of did sketch comedy and I can't remember the other thing. So, but it wasn't like massive. And I'm not sure what happened from there, but then it was when it came to season 2, then Brakau came to me and he said, will you do the mentoring thing?
Okay.
And then there was a young comic, who was renting a flat from me. And they were like, "Listen here, Chris, you're a great mentor, but you don't speak vernac. Is there anyone who you think would fill the role?" And I was like, "This guy's got to pay rent." Chris Mapani.
Amazing.
That's so dope.
Hey, Chris, do you want a gig? Yeah, cool. And then so You Think You're Funny. Obviously, that's where we met.
Yes.
He was very funny. Did you know that? Like I flagged him almost from the start as the winner, but then he was done knob and he screwed it up.
Yeah, I literally messed up. I could have won So You Think You're Funny.
What did you do to not win?
It's a long story.
It's a long story.
It needs a second episode.
We're doing an episode. Yeah. Telling a long story.
Yeah, it's a long story. No, but it was one of those things. I think you're better off for not winning it.
Yeah, same. In retrospect, yes.
We spoke about that because I thought he won. But at the same time, not winning also makes you like have a leg to stand on, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's also about understanding your why, right? So I went to So You Think You're Funny to learn how to do comedy, right? So I went and I treated it as like a university of comedy because that's the first time I ever did stand up. Was at So You Think You're Funny, and when I got there, I was introduced to Chris Mapani. I was introduced to Chris FORREST. And they're the guys. So when you watch on the show, you see the judges and you see us, the contestants, and Thomas Kumete, who is the presenter.
Yeah.
But in between all of that, it was Chris FORREST and Chris Mapani who was sort of like teaching us things like timing, delivery, gag construction. I think on one episode we had to do like a sketch or something like that. I can't remember properly. But essentially, I came on the show to learn how to do comedy and become a comedian and work with comedians. So what I wanted from the show, I got.
You got.
But what I didn't realize was that I had a clear shot at actually winning the show, right? And the long story is I lost because I went home to get an outfit.
Yes.
That's so,
So wait,
you,
you weren't present at the final?
That is so you,
No,
dog.
I'll tell you what, but I might get hate for this.
Nothing's changed.
Because I think he knows by now. So the actual person who I thought was going to win on the day of the final was Celeste Ntuli.
Mm-hmm.
But I think she got a little bit nervous on the day because she kind of, you could see she was...
frazzled.
And then the judges were like arguing a lot. Now, I was angry with him. No, because we were sitting there and we'd every day would go through everybody's sets with them and we'd say, okay, maybe adjust this, change this, look at doing this a different way or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, so we've spoken to Celeste, we've spoken to Anne, where's Pops? And then they were like, he's gone home to get a shirt.
Bruh, and this was, no, but don't say Klets, no. Now I don't.
How many outfits do you have in your boot right now?
No, but this was, he had outfits there.
Answer the question. How many outfits do you have in your boot right now? How many pairs of shoes?
And we shot 2 episodes. Why do you have 4 outfits in your car?
Because I have to go to gym and I have to wear something in between.
This is
Okay, so now what happens is Celeste, as I said, got a bit nervous. I mean, her career's gone on. We all know she's huge now.
Yeah.
It's a comedy show.
And then the judges were all the 3 of them were arguing about who
Dosh, Mushidi,
and
David Cow, yes.
And so they were going back and forth. And eventually David said, okay, let's ask Chris what he thinks. And there was actually a camera filming it, but I don't think they ever aired it. I was like, I said, if Pops wins, he's going to be happy and then he's going to burn out soon. But if he comes second, he's going to have a long and successful career.
Sure.
And he's proved me wrong. But no, kidding. No, obviously, I mean, I don't know how it would have affected him if you'd won. But I think in retrospect, your career's been awesome. And it's much bigger than So You Think You're Funny. If we
the
won.
biggest blessing was me not winning the show.
Yeah.
And I can explain the fetching a shirt story.
There's no explaining, though.
It was the weekend. We lived in Randburg for the duration of the shoot. Then on the Saturday, we find Celeste and I were the only 2 contestants that packed till the end. But I didn't pack enough, like, till the final.
So, like, now 14 days, you packed 18.
Yeah, so I packed. So now I needed, like, something for the final. And my mom and I had just been to Denmark. So when we were in Denmark, we had gotten clothes, right? And I was like, there's this very special jacket. There's actually a clip on YouTube. I was like, if I can get this shirt and this jacket, like, it was like, I'd never worn it before. And I was like, I'm going to wear it on the final. So I got into a taxi to go home in Mondio. But it's Saturday. So you know the taxis.
They take a bit longer.
Wait, I'm going to pick holes in this story. It wasn't a Saturday. It was during the week. You're lying.
Was it during the week?
It was during the week because I still had to, I was angry for no reason, not with you.
Okay, so it was daytime. So
it was daytime.
It was daytime. So the taxis were longer in the day because it's not.
You can't go
traffic.
Yeah, because
So
I was
took
missing a
long.
premiere that night because they'd shifted it from shooting in the morning to in the evening.
Yes. So that gave me enough time to travel, right? So during the day, bro, I remember sitting in the Randburg taxi. Then I remember sitting in the taxi from town to Southgate. Then when you get to Southgate, you must walk, get my stuff, then come back to Southgate. And then I sat in the taxi at Southgate. Because you have to sit until they get full.
That's a good question.
In my mind,
Matthew asked how
it was
does that
gonna
sound like a good
in my mind, it was
idea?
gonna take 40 minutes to go home, 40 minutes to come back.
So that
I was
40
gonna be
plus
back
40 in
within
your head.
within 2 hours. I would have been back.
Yeah,
but I was gone for like 5.
If only like TV productions had the facilities to like take you somewhere.
Wait, so
they didn't.
Drivers.
No.
So everyone was living there.
We were living there. I wanted to go
Big
to
brother. You're committed.
That's what happened, bruh.
That's crazy.
So I lost 100,000 rand check and the title and the winner of So You Think You're Funny.
How much did you win in second place?
You got a handshake?
You get
Got a
thank you.
handshake.
A certificate
Handshake,
and
hug
participation
from
flowers.
Chris FORREST, hug from... Bruh, you can see on that, it's on YouTube. You guys must actually check it out. It's a clip from the finale. I could see on Chris Mapani's face that I didn't win. When they're announcing the winner, he was just like... Because they knew, they deliberated.
But Chris loved you.
Yeah, still does. We love
obviously.
each other.
He's only human.
But but you've always been big on like schools. And I remember we spoke about opening a school for comedy or something. And I came to like, you know how I am. Like,
Yeah,
came to
Chris
like,
was the
"Dude,
first
that's such a
person
bad
that
idea."
gave me a book to read about comedy. I didn't even know comedy had books.
Oh, okay.
No, because here's the thing.
Was it a joke book?
It wasn't a joke book.
It was a joke about. It was a book about.
There wasn't
stand-up
one
comedy.
in there about. We made a braai. So the thing about being a comedian is you can't make a person who's not funny. But like guys in this room obviously have a lot of natural talent, and you can hone that and make it better. So that's the thing. That's why I would have given him a book. You've never given it back though, by the way.
No.
Did you read it?
Still, yes. That's how I became better.
What's page 19? Say.
Punchlines. You know what I dig what you did, Chris? Also something I learned from you as well was, again, when we were doing So You Think You're Funny, you were both a comedy mentor, but at the same time, like you said, Chris Mapani was your tenant. So, so you went into the property business.
Yes.
At the beginning of your career. And the moment you started making a lot of money, you invested more and more in property, and you started building this property empire, a bunch of flats and houses and stuff like that. What made you decide to go that route?
So I worked, after MultiChoice, I worked for a pension fund.
Yeah.
And if you ever want to get sad in your life, work for a pension fund. Because these people phone you, and then it's the craziest thing. Like these people, okay, the amount would be different now, but they were surviving on like $300-400 a month. That's their entire income. They've worked their whole lives, and now that's what they. And then, then once a year they have to go see a doctor, and the doctor's got to certify that they're alive, or they stop the pension.
Hectic.
That is hectic.
It's called a certificate of existence, and
that's like proof of life.
This is a true thing. And so now you have to try and explain to people now, like, I'm starving here. And you're like, well, go see a doctor to get a certificate. And they're like, but I don't have money to go to the doctor. And you're like, well, not a lot I can do from the call center. And then, so I was like...
that's crazy.
Then, as I said, I kind of got like this weird lateral promotion where I moved to more of an investment side of things. And then from there, they started training us to be... actually, Joey worked at the same company, believe it or not.
Alexander the Forbes.
That's the one. Mm-hmm. And then they started saying we could train to be FSPs. And then I looked at that and I was like, I'm never going to be that guy. And I looked at pensions as a self-employed person. This is very boring. I apologize.
No.
But then
This is
like,
education.
As comedians, how many of us have pension funds?
I do.
Do you?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, remember
I'm
I worked
so
in
proud of
I worked in game design before this, so you have to set up that whole thing, and then after carry on pay. I'm very I'm not stupid. Like
no, just like at the time. Are you saying if you don't have a pension fund, you're stupid? How's yours?
No, I'm saying like
I don't always had a pension fund.
No, so like
Mzimbuli. How's your pension fund?
Listen, I'm covered by the blood of Jesus.
Because there was
pension fund.
I remember I spoke to a comedian who was quite prevalent at the time, and I said to him, like, because I was still there, I was like, how do you do this thing? He's like, nah, dude, I'm just going to take enough drugs and booze that I'm dead before I retire.
Martin Jonas.
Did you know? Literally him. And then I was like, okay, that's not the greatest plan.
But
and then I was reading books and I was like, okay, actually, real estate's a better investment long term.
Yeah.
So I started. But it's also difficult to get banks to give you money if you're a comedian. So my empire, as you call it, got stopped after a few years. And then it's going to have to start again when I've paid all those off.
What year did all of this happen?
I bought my first investment place in 2005.
Whoa.
I was matriculating.
Before World Cup.
I was in grade 7.
Before at the peak of the property boom.
Oh, is it like that at the moment?
No,
is property a thing now?
Property is still a thing. In fact,
property will always
if you want a bit of advice, kids, now's a good time to buy because even though the interest rates are super high, that's going to mean the prices are quite cheap.
Mm-hmm.
So when the interest rates drop, then the prices will go up.
Mm-hmm.
So I must buy.
That's boring.
Yeah, sell the farm, buy properties.
Or just subdivide your farm and then
Build.
make a complex there.
Yeah.
So 2005.
No, there's an old saying that says if you want to lose money, build. But anyway.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah,
Why?
because things become more expensive as you build. So you'll start a building project and bricks will be 5 rand a brick. But things happen in our economy, as you can see. And then 4 months from now, the same bricks are 9 rand a brick.
But then also the guy who said to you only need 200 bricks.
Is now coming back
He's
and
saying, I miscalculated, you need 10,000.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And also you need more plumbing. And
by the time you look at the price of bricks, you're like,
yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, because a lot of people around the area I live in, they're selling, bro. Selling.
But that's because it's Walkerville.
There's a lot of land. There's a lot of land to sell.
There's tigers on the loose.
After the tiger, yo.
The fact that you kept jogging after the tiger, bruh.
Yeah, I mean,
Dude, this guy was jogging at the year
there's a
end.
lot more animals. That's not helping your case here.
Bro, if you go to the local bar, they all talk about what animals they have.
This guy got chased by an ostrich, bruh.
You got chased by an ostrich?
Yeah, when you're running, they come and they try to copy
This is at the year end. At a resort, this dude just wakes up and decides to run.
So we went to Mudimule or something like that, and then I ran, and then the ostrich, I don't know what it thought, you know? But it was just coming my way.
So I think you look attractive to the ostrich.
I got chased by a zebra once. Does that count?
Yeah.
A zebra.
A zebra on my honeymoon.
Your honeymoon?
Did you run away?
So we were in Zambia. Because we went to...
What do you mean?
It wasn't Walkerville, sorry. Walkerville, not a big honeymoon destination, surprising. And then...
surprising.
And then we went out on like this cruise with this Mexican couple, and then we got to know them. And then afterwards we had a dinner and a few drinks, and then they were like, we want to take a picture with a zebra. So I was like, it's cool. We're from Africa. We know the vibe. It's good. Take your selfie. Now I'm not sure if these two are connected.
Now you're the guy.
We took selfies with a zebra and it was cool. And then the next morning we went on what they called a nature walk, which is really just a tour of the hotel.
Yeah.
And then I'm a bad person because I don't know if you know the Zambian accent, but they can't really say the L, so they say the R.
Zulus.
It's almost like...
It's the reverse of Zulus.
It's like Shona. They don't pronounce the L's like Sheo Garage, the girls and the boys.
But the thing is, so when I was asking him about politics of the region, and he was telling me about the last time, and he was meaning to say an election, but he said, last time we had an erection.
We had an erection. Last time we had
an erection 2 years ago, and our next erection will be in 2 years' time. And I was killing myself. My wife was busy punching me. She's like, shut up. And I kept just trying to get him to say erection as much as I could. But now, while we're walking, there's a herd of zebra running like sort of 15 meters that way. And the one just stopped and looked at me. And I was like, okay. And then it started charging at us. Have you ever been charged by a zebra before?
No.
It is weird. It is not like something I'm used to. So
no one.
I don't think.
So now I'm running away from the zebra with all those three of us running, and the guide keeps going, don't run, but he's running next to us. And I'm like, I'll stop when you stop, dude. And then this thing's chasing us, but like there's this tiny tree, and we're running around the tree, and the zebra's chasing us in circles like some sort of like Bad Leon Schuster sketch or something. And then eventually it like stops and it kicks dust and off it goes. And then the guy goes, yeah, guys, if you're ever chased by a zebra, you must never run.
Don't run. You're like, nigga.
And I was like, yeah, but you were also running. He's like, yeah, I too was fearful.
I'm just saying for next time.
Next time. Because
we must not
it
run.
obviously happens a lot.
Zebra make?
Yeah, it doesn't have like a hee. It's got like a...
Is that the sound a zebra makes?
I thought it was a turkey. I was very confused.
Guys, I can't
A
take pop
turkey.
seriously.
A turkey makes a noise.
No, zebra's like almost like a...
Speaking of turkey, which meal did you make to win the Masterchef celebrity?
Before we get into Masterchef, right? You mentioned being on honeymoon with your wife and being chased by a zebra. How many years have you been married?
15.
15 years.
Yeah, wait. Yeah, going on 15.
15 years married, boys and girls. To the beautiful Tabitha.
That's the one.
Yes. And how many kids do you have now?
We've got two.
Two.
They're amazing. You've got a daughter as well.
Yeah. I've got a almost 12-year-old now.
Oh. Yeah, so it's same age, actually.
Yeah. And then a younger one.
Yeah.
All right.
Where's your younger one?
No, I'm saying you've got a younger one. You've got a 12.
No, but I'm saying, don't you?
No.
You didn't keep up.
No. I'm gonna try tonight.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Sure.
So as this accomplished comedian, you're now a husband, you're now a father, you start venturing into other things that sort of take a different direction in your career, which brings me back to robots. Masterchef, right?
So that was a mistake.
Oh, wow.
So that time you won.
No, when I won.
It was a mistake that I got this grand.
So what happened? I'll tell you.
Yeah.
If you get this long stories. So what happened was, I don't know if you remember Kim Murray from Real Concerts.
Yes, I do.
That was my manager at the time. And she phoned me. She said, the people from Masterchef want you to come do Celebrity Masterchef. And I was like, that's cool, but I don't know how to cook. Because I'd never...
Wait a minute.
It's a true story. And so she was
the
like...
people that lost to you know this?
They do.
Bro.
Oh, no.
Chris Forrest
better.
has a cooking empire. Wait, you didn't know how to cook?
Yeah, this is 11 years ago. So I'd never cooked anything. I'd bride, because every South African man can bride.
Yes.
If you don't, then they take your passport away.
That's a trick.
And then I knew how to make what I thought was an omelette, which is basically scrambled eggs with some other stuff stuck in it that's solidified. It's actually called a frittata. Frittata. So then they said, okay, cool. I said, I don't know how to cook. She said, but just go in there. It'll be nice for you to get like a little bit of screen time and whatever.
Yeah.
So, okay, fine. So then she said, they need you to come in now for interviews.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Then the guy interviewing me is a guy called Arnold Tanzer. And he starts asking me these questions. He's like, what are your favorite restaurants? He says, name one of the funnest or best things fanciest, that's the word, you've cooked. So I said, like 2 nights ago, I did a seafood risotto. I was just talking nonsense. And then...
yeah, but my chicken a la king 2 days back.
Chris' straight face. Trust me.
And then
sell that thing.
So then he says to me, he says, okay, cool. Now we need you to come upstairs for a cooking test. And I'm like, sorry, what? So now, but I'm keeping the straight face. I say, what do you want me to make? Scrambled eggs. And he goes, close, an omelette. So I'm like, done. I could do this. So I went upstairs and I made what I thought was an omelette. And then they phoned and they're like, okay, cool. They're happy you're in. And so then now I've lied and everything and I'm in and they do all this stuff. And by the time we're on set, I'm like, okay, it's time to be honest now. So I'm like, guys, I've never cooked in my life before.
Cut. What is going on here?
The contract's been signed, so wait.
Contract is signed. Because even there was negotiations
paid
around the contract because there's things I disagreed with and we fought with them and whatever. I don't know if you've ever tried to negotiate with multi-choice, but it's like playing tennis against a brick wall. It doesn't. And
there aren't any multi-choices.
Then they said to Kim, they was like, don't worry, it only really comes into effect if he wins. And she's like, he's never going to win.
Ta-da.
So then...
What?
Then so I go in and I'm on set and all those like Vox Pops and whatever. I'm going, this is awesome because I never cooked before. And then there was another contestant whose name I won't mention, but I'm sure you'll figure it out. And she goes, I'm actually a chef in the closet. I'm really good at this, blah, 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 blah. I'm coming out. I'm going to show you guys a thing. And then she looks at me and she's like, you know what? That's a better story arc. So in episode 2, she goes, I've also never cooked before. And I'm like, you're totally stealing my vibe here.
It's my character.
But anyway, so then there was a guy, he's quite famous as a South African actor. His name is Terence Bridget.
Oh, yes. He used to play Chico on Isidingo.
So I'm not sure if I should share the full story, but between me and Terence, we managed, because there's no alcohol allowed in that house, that holding house we stay. So we managed to obtain some. And then we'd wait for the others to go to bed. And then he enjoyed the vodka, I enjoyed the Spice Gold. And no, I'm not being paid to say that. And then we would just, so all the spare time I had in like the holding area and everything, I was just memorizing recipes. And then we would practice cooking every night while we had a couple of drinks. And then,
That's so dope. Yeah.
so like I couldn't cook, but I could memorize a recipe.
Oh.
And that's kind of how I got through. And then I should have actually gone home. But as I say, Ngezi was like, and it was obvious because he had a one-man show like later that week. So he was like, he swears blind to this day. Every time I've asked him, he's gone, no. That's not how I genuinely, I was like, no, dude, I've seen you cook. He was awesome. He should have won that thing.
Yeah.
But then he was the first. And then as the competition progressed, I got kind of better and better and better. And then like by the final, I sort of knew what I was doing. And luckily, one of the recipes I'd memorized. So in that first thing with Mongezi, it was a ceviche. And I'd never heard of a ceviche.
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 It's Spanish.
Asking the wrong people.
So I'd never heard of this thing before. So I'd like sort of Googled it and whatever. And I'd looked at all these recipes and sort of memorized them. And then they were like, okay, your first challenge for the final has to be a cold starter. And I was like, I'm going to do a ceviche. So it was a rainbow trout ceviche with avocado sorbet. And that was the one that won. Because we were quite equal in the main course, but the starter was the one that won it for me.
Yeah.
What was the main course?
The main course was, it was like, I forget exactly how to, it was like you cut away the spine of a lamb and then you put pancetta in it and then stuffed it with a few things that I can't remember. I've never made that one again, but the ceviche I make often.
And I don't know, I've cooked with Chris before. Well, I didn't cook. I was just,
you are present. You are watching.
I was watching. I was doing this thing online where he was cooking and then I was explaining what's happening to the people watching on live. But they kept on asking me questions that I don't know. I was like, so the whole time I'm cooking and I'm like, Chris, this one asks, what is this? And then eventually I was just the guy just sitting in the background, like just watching. But I got paid, which was cool.
It's so crazy how from that you were able to build this cooking empire, right? Because from there you did so many spin-offs of cooking shows, and there's a lot of stuff that I'd see you do on a corporate level.
Yeah.
There's stuff that you would turn it into a show.
Yeah.
Did you know that your career would take you on that trajectory?
Not really. No, so after Masterchef, then I was like, okay, maybe this cooking thing's, it's never occurred to me before.
That's so insane. So how many other spin-offs of that from Masterchef did you do?
So now what happened after that is one of the judges, a guy called Pete Goffwood.
Yes.
Him and me on the show, like while we were filming, only him and Terence a lot of the time, because as you say, I'm straight-faced. So people didn't realize I'm joking. And then him and Terence would be killing themselves laughing. There's a story I tell about Patricia Lewis where we're practicing cutting up onions. And then she says, Chris, how do you stop yourself from crying when you cut up an onion? And then I went, Patricia, don't form a relationship with it first. Now, you see, that's kind of funny.
That's fun.
That's kind of funny to me. But then she looked at me and she went, oh, really? And then I was like, no, guys, chill. Because now even people like one of the other people on the show, was Alex J, and even he's like sitting there, and I'm like, and then I was like, okay, no, guys, and it's weird how I knew this, but it's one of those because I know weird facts. I was like, if you really want to stop yourself from crying, what you do, and this is true for those of you who are wondering, you stick your head in a freezer, and then what happens is the veins in your eyes constrict or whatever they call it, and then you're less likely to cry. So I tell them that, and then they all start laughing. They're like, Chris, you're a comedian. You're so funny. And I'm like, no, you didn't laugh at that.
That was the real stuff.
But anyway,
laugh at the joke. When the joke is said, they don't laugh. They think it's serious.
But so often, like during the show, I'd be saying stuff, and Pete would be killing himself laughing. And then the other two judges were looking at me like, what the hell?
Yeah, what did he say? What?
And then he would start ragging me back. And then you're not allowed to talk to the judges off camera. But on camera, we were constantly bantering and whatever. And most of it didn't make the final cut. But anyway, so after the show at the rap party, then we chatted, and then we're like, okay, cool. Whenever I'm in Cape Town, we'll hook up for lunch or whatever. And it was at his book launch.
Mm-hmm.
Then he said he was asking me about international comedy or whatever. And I said, no, I've done the Edinburgh Festival a couple of times, and I've done this and that. And he's like, I've always wanted to do a festival. So I said, well, let's write a show. So we wrote a show called Don't Burn Your Sausage between us. And it is what you think it is. We're actually doing it in Hout Bay. I don't know when this is coming out. We're doing it in Hout Bay on the 30th of March. So we wrote a show all about food and sex and how to get laid using food. And then the more time I was like spending with Pete, the more I was learning off him. And because I was trying to practice cooking all the time now. But now, if you're learning, he's one of the best in the world, the country, if not the world. And so then I was learning more and more, and then I started doing a lot of demos by myself, and then we were doing the show. And then I started as getting better and better. Then I went during lockdown. A friend of mine owns a chef school, and he said to me he needs help doing adverts because his students couldn't work in the restaurant, so they were working from the chef school. So I helped him with some adverts, and then he said, how must I pay you? I said, well, let me do your course. So I qualified as a chef.
Hey, so
at the HTA School of Culinary Arts.
What?
Dad?
And then, now
you're a qualified
chef.
Now
I'm a qualified chef.
That's so crazy. That is so insane.
Yeah,
you think you're doing
to Chris's house, bro? You'll eat the whole day. You'll eat.
And
I
cycle.
remember, but you know when you eat so much, you don't want this kaftin.
You shouldn't want this kaftin anyway. When you go from people's house.
If I go to your house and I eat, I need a kaftin to live with. Especially if I come alone. I have people at home I need to feed, bro. I can't eat alone.
Do you know how much eggs cost in Walkerville?
Yo, Chris, it's so crazy how you managed to carve this whole sort of chef career, right?
Yeah.
But I know as of late you're doing something interesting on Showmax.
On Showmax, yeah.
I am indeed.
Mm-hmm. I heard you were in the show Reading.
Yeah. Well, it's just a small part.
Yeah.
So it was fun. It was cool because it's not a comedy show.
Yes. That's what I was going to ask.
I haven't seen this one.
It's based on a novel.
Yeah.
I really loved the idea of it. It's an awesome novel if you ever read it. There was a guy he was the ABC killer, Moses Sithole.
Yes.
And so he asked this author to come in and write his story. She was a journo, actually. She wasn't an author. And then she went in there, and then she was a bit worried because she's like, am I basically making this dude famous for being a serial killer, which is a bit cock.
Yeah.
And then in the book, the main character, who's a journo who gets invited in by a serial killer, goes to visit her uncle to ask advice on this. And the uncle goes, write your own story. So it's quite meta. So then she wrote her own story about a serial killer.
Yeah.
And it's a really, really cool book. And now they made it into a series. But
so who do you play in that?
I play it's not a stretch from my pure Monate days, but I played a prison guard called Darby.
You always get cast as an Afrikaans dude, and you're not Afrikaans.
Do you know what's weird? When we were shooting PMS, everyone in the street would speak to me in Afrikaans, and I'd be like, guys, I'm actually English. David Kibuka came to my house, and he meets my mom. And my mom's like, hello, David. And he's like, your mom's English. I'm like, yeah, well, so am I. And he's like, no, but she's proper English. I was like, what did you expect?
What does
He's
proper
like,
mean?
He thought they would be like, hello, David. I don't know, like what he was.
So even your Kwaito name, Cooler Box, was an Afrikaans dude from Benoni, but you're an English dude.
That's a Kwaito artist.
There's a reason that they did in Afrikaans, besides anything else. Because I thought I'd be horrible in English. But if you listen to the tracks, so Cooler Box was because Mendoza was in the mix.
Yes.
And then Mendoza had big crossover appeal.
Yes.
And then all the people in white clubs used to do that sort of Zulu stamp dance.
Yeah.
Made famous in our communities
by Johnny Clegg.
So I thought it would be really funny if I sang volksliedjies in Afrikaans. To a Kwaito beat. And then my thought was in my head, maybe in sort of black clubs they would dance to it like that instead. But
that never worked.
No, it didn't. Well, neither did Cooler Box.
So don't forget to
But he did one.
Anyway, so
you played
going back to Reading. So I played this guy called Davy. And the lady who wrote the book, whose name escapes me at this point in time.
Nunu Kumalo. Well, sorry, that's her real name.
Oh.
No,
Nunu Kumalo was the actress.
Yeah.
No, it's Angela something or something. Oh, she's a brilliant actress.
Yeah.
See where all the talent went in that family. But kidding. But the author, I met her the one day and they'd asked me to grow a beard. And she got super excited because she's like, you look just like the prison guard who was there. Which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
It's a good and bad thing.
But anyway,
that's a good cast.
It was really cool to do like a serious role instead of a comedy one. It was cool to see the DOP. There's a guy called Zeno.
Zeno, yes.
He was our DOP on season 2 of PMS as well. So it was nice to see because he was directing it as well.
Oh, that's so crazy.
Such a 360.
Yeah, so it was cool, and he's now to see how he's grown. He's really, really good at what he does. So it was so much fun.
But Zeno's always been brilliant. The stuff he's done with Bomb is incredible.
Bro, but have you seen the stuff that's out now, especially the South African stuff?
Top notch.
Yeah.
Oh man, so we can catch you in your serious role on Red Ink on Showmax.
That's right. It started showing already. I don't know how many episodes I'm in, but I haven't seen the thing.
Okay.
How long?
I can't wait to see.
To binge watch it. It's a really cool story.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to watch it. Man. Look, I want to ask you something very controversial, and it's about comedy, because I want to understand what happened and what's going to happen in the future. Right? Back in the day, there was a lot more white comedians in South Africa.
Yes.
What happened, right? And what happened, number one. And number two, what is your take on the current state of comedy in South Africa? And what do we need to do to get it to a point where we are playing at an international level?
I'll start with that one.
With the okay.
With that. I think already we play at an international level.
Okay.
I don't think... there's this stigma in South Africa where a lot of people think we're not as good as internationals, but often it's because we don't have the budget. Mm-hmm. So if you want to record a movie, for example, what we consider a high budget production here
is the catering budget of an international film, yeah.
But when it comes to stand-up comedy, budget doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. And I think it's been proved time and time again that South African comedians are just as good. Trevor Noah being the obvious example. Yeah. Skalk Note kills over there. Tats and Konzo. Yeah. Luis Ogola is doing huge things. He was on Live at the Apollo. He had
twice.
a TV show.
Twice. He's done Live at the Apollo twice. Yeah.
He's been on QI. Like things most English comics, for example, would only dream of. Loi's done it.
Yeah.
I don't know why you haven't gone overseas yet.
I'm on my way.
Yeah.
Because it's better for the rest of us if, he leaves us some space.
Yo.
No, I'm kidding.
No, for real. Yo.
No, but the thing is, so here's what one of the arguments I used to have when Trevor was still, before he went to America. Everyone was like, Trevor's taking all the gigs. And I was like, no, Trevor's creating gigs, because if people enjoy comedy, they're more likely to watch comedy. So if Pops does well, then we all do better. So no pressure, but I need more gigs if you could up your game. And
do better, sir.
Yeah, it's you as well, dude. But then as far as white comics go, they have become less and less. But I think comedy is it's really awesome as an industry for me because it just transformed naturally.
Yeah.
Like if you think of our population in South Africa, it's kind of representative of the population.
Yes.
And nobody said you have to have a quota of so many white comics, black comics, except for McCoffrey.
Oh, yes, literally. Literally.
No, I still like to think, I mean, David jokes about when at Blacks Only that I was... but at the time when we did that first one, when you guys were still in high school, it was mostly just a PMS crew. So obviously, and we still did a really bad, just so that nobody got offended, blackface, so that I could be on the show. It was almost a joke. Not almost, it was. But so...
almost a joke.
So I think it's kind of transformed, like the vernac circuit's grown huge. The English one is kind of stagnated a bit, I think. But there's a lot more comics now than there's ever been. But in terms of the industry improving it, I think lockdown killed us a bit.
It did.
Yeah.
It set us back a couple of steps.
Yeah. So now the thing is, in the early days, people were creating gigs. But now the gigs, for example, you'll create are big ones. You're not going to go to start a Cool Runnings, for example, because it's a difficult thing. It's a lot of admin. Not a lot
the margins aren't great.
There's not a lot of money because once you paid for advertising or whatever, you're not making anything.
Yeah.
But all the young sort of comics who are starting out and just starting to make it, who would have been the ones to create those gigs, most of them aren't necessarily gigging anymore because during lockdown they had to go back to whatever they were doing prior. So it needs guys to start with the smaller gigs, and then that'll build up to like the Goliath Club or the Parkers or whatever. Because remember, I was in the industry for 10 years before we had our first full-time comedy club.
Yeah.
Funny Farm aside.
Yeah.
And then the Goliaths even came later than that. I think when they first started. So it's like guys have got to create these things. There's guys who are doing it slowly but surely, but then to find a venue that works long term is also difficult.
Yeah, it is.
I used to run one in Walkerville that. That was great. Is it still there?
Yeah, I actually...
The Canterbury Arms, I think it was.
I went to a couple of people because I was trying to start a gig out there. And they're like, the only way you can do that is if you bring Barry Hilton or Chris Forrest. Otherwise, we don't want it. Like the venues, they'd say that, like, who are you going to bring? And I'll say, Pops. They're like, who's that? And I'll show them the picture. Oh, I know that guy. Bruh, it's
one in the My Way.
Yeah, Walkerville is a different type of... But yeah, they do. I would love to do that. I would love to bring a gig back to Walkerville and not have to travel 40 Ks every time I have to do something, you know?
You know what you could do to also not travel 40 Ks?
Yeah, it comes.
You could move. I'm just saying.
Chris Forrest.
No, I'd lose my mind. I'd lose my mind. I'd lose my mind.
That's the property sales pitch.
Yeah.
Chris Forrest Properties. There's no need to stay in Walkerville. Try one of our apartments.
Speaking of our apartments, streaming studios, right here in a private location in Parkest, near the Shell Garage. Streaming studios, where studios need to be. Pops.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are joined today by the legend himself, Chris Forrest. Christopher Emerick.
Emerick.
Yeah, Emerick.
Yeah.
Jacques.
David.
Emerick. David Forrester. Ladies and gentlemen, Uncle Chris, I wanted to say, man, like, it means so much that you actually took the time to come and spend it with us.
Real talk.
For me personally, this is a personal one. Thank you for being a comedy mentor in my life. Thank you for teaching me comedy. I literally, when I was you at Masterchef, I did 2 jokes at the audition of So You Think You're Funny. That's all I had. So when I came on the show, I had nothing. So everything I learned from you, and I learned from Chris Mapani.
Oh, I love that.
I want to say thank you, and thank you for the tough decision you made at the end of the show, because I am where I am today because of that decision, right? So mine is a personal thank you. Yeah, bro. Thank you so much, Uncle Chris.
Thanks for having me. I didn't get to eat any popcorn. We were talking to me.
It
I'm going to take a scuffteen.
Such a callback.
Yeah.
Yo, man. Yeah.
Thank you, man. Like, and I know we haven't spoken about this, but you know, Chris used to manage me like this couple years ago. Tabitha, actually, not Chris. Chris and Tabitha, right? And and then we had a very good time. You know, there's still a bunch of stuff that we still like kind of working our way out, and that was such a. I was coming from a very dark place, you know.
Walk up in.
Somebody was gonna say it.
Someone.
I was coming from a very dark place. I literally went into the home and I asked, like, yo, I need some kind of like stableness in my life. And they offered it, and thank you so much. I've always, you know, I don't like talking. I don't.
This guy has a mic in front of his mouth. I don't love talking.
Like I don't know how to like. Sometimes I struggle to speak from the heart, you know. But that was a very good time, and I really do appreciate it. Even the times that we spent and you telling us all these things about stuff and how to do things. And thanks.
You're a legend.
Thanks for having me.
You're a legend.
We're basically giving you your flowers. And I mean, thank you for being a part of something so great that introduced us to humor, in our upbringing.
Yeah.
We've got a whole other episode where I'll tell you some PMS stories.
Yes, we need a part 2. And, your investment in Pops as the firstborn relates to the secondborn and everything else that we do. So low-key, your inspiration to him, if he's an inspiration to us, that's also your seed that you planted.
Awesome. Thank you.
So shout out to that,
Yeah. You guys keep doing what you do, man.
We're going to keep going, Uncle Chris. Yo, man. But yeah, you're a legend, bro. And over the years, so many people slept on you. They slept on you when you were a dog. They slept on you as a chef. You won. They slept on you as a comedian. You killed it. They slept on you as a serious actor. You are currently on Red Ink and Showmax. All I want to say, Uncle Chris, is many people over the years might have slept on you. But we at Popcorn and Cheese have never slept on you. So as a token of our appreciation, because we are people from the South, we wanted you to have this pillow as a reminder that many have slept on you, but we do not sleep on you.
But I can sleep on this.
Yes. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris FORREST.
Yeah.
Before we go, we got some shameless plugs.
Speaking of Showmax.
Yes.
Yeah. Showmax Entertainment from 39 Rand, Premier League from 69 Rand, mobile only.
Is this the new Showmax? The 2.0?
The new, Showmax. I think saying the new Showmax kind of confuses people because they still have the app. It just made it better.
So Showmax is much better now.
So you said how much for the Premier League?
From the Premier League is 69 Rand.
69 for 69
for the mobile, so you can watch Premier League anywhere.
Yeah.
And I know you're a Liverpool supporter, a big
Unfortunately.
one. Yeah, I know you're a Manchester supporter.
Of course, yes, because I'm a real soccer.
Yeah, I know you're a Pirate supporter, not in the Premier League.
Can I just check, is there anyone who's a Chiefs supporter here? If we can.
No.
We don't work with a bunch of
losers. They're losers, bro. No, Chiefs is losers, I promise you. They had not won.
Like, what was it?
Morocco Swallows.
Not Morocco Swallows, below Morocco Swallows. They lost two, like,
Bushbucks.
Dangerous
not even
Duckies.
Bushbucks. They lost, what's the team's name? I can't even remember.
Royal AM.
It was
like a club that's
in
just
a
like
Nedbank Cup. Like these guys, most of them.
Oh,
had to take
TS
leave.
Galaxy.
No, below that.
Yo.
That dudes took leave. They
Power
coached,
Park
they coached
11.
by a gynecologist. Who?
Yeah.
That's a true story.
What happened?
They're coached by a gynecologist.
No, they didn't go that low.
what do you call platypuses?
They got chowed by a team that gets coached by a gynecologist.
But it was Showmax, yeah.
Bioscope Sunday.
Watch Red Ink. It's a great show.
Watch Red Ink.
His cousin's in it.
Yeah, so Red Ink. So Premier League is $69 a month.
$69
and
and then all the local content is $39. Bro, I won't lie. This Showmax has like couple of shows that I'm like, the Real Housewives. I love the Housewives because I'm in a relationship, so no single man, just
watches
the Housewives. I know all of them. I know their lives.
He doesn't say that he watches it with his...
No,
I watch it alone.
So what happens is he first watched it with his spouse and then pretended to hate it. And then when she wasn't there, she's like, he'd care.
Is that thing that happens like we watch, you've got a kid, we watch, say, like Bluey.
Yes.
And then your kid leaves and you're like...
You don't pause.
Wonder what Bingo's going to do now.
So yeah.
Man. So yes, your shameless plugs.
My shameless plugs, obviously Showmax. Today's shameless plug is Showmax. 39 Rand, 69 Rand for the Premier League. For me personally, 28th of June, Lyric Theatre. Get your tickets. Let's sell it out. It's history for me and for whatever part of the industry I represent at this point. It's going to be one of those shows. For the books. Bioscope Sundays every Sunday. It sells out every single weekend. Thank you so much. We do the backstage show on YouTube as well. And popcorn and cheese every Wednesday.
Wow, that was nice. You plugged our show.
He can't speak from the heart, but he can.
He can.
He can.
Well, you heard...
plug the show on the show, just like DSTV.
Well, you heard from...
Shabella DSTV. What am I watching now?
Why do you like your own pictures? DSTV is advertising DSTV on DSTV for people that already have DSTV.
Mzimbuli, what are your shameless plugs, my brother?
You already know what time it is. Also, big shout out to Karaki. These are reversible jackets, by the way. As you can see, there's a pocket inside, and I'm not side pocket from PMS, but we are here with Chris, a member from PMS. Anyway, Flavortron out there, new music all day, every day. Popcorn and cheese, baby.
That was Robot Boyle, shamelessly plugging a jacket that doesn't need you to wash it. All right, and now, ladies and gentlemen, we heard from the two-time Comics Choice Comedy Award nominee, Mr. Zizi Chumerik, the Barbaric.
Winner.
Let's support winner. Could be.
Two-time winner.
Two-time.
Multiple times nominated.
Shapa. We heard from the man who dances for the livings and has his own clothing and drinking energy drink line. And then from my side, ladies and gentlemen, birthday comedy special happening at Empress Palace on the 8th of June. We also have Last Number Comedy, which is at Artistry, J Something's restaurant in Sandton. That happens on a Tuesday and a Thursday. Also just a regular room where you can come and enjoy stand-up comedy. Yep. And I'm going to do it because you did it. Popcorn and cheese every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Catch us
Comic
here
of
on
the
the
Year
YouTubes.
winner.
And of course, Comic of the Year nominee.
Yes.
And we don't yet know the results, but we'll get there. And then Uncle Christophizations. Chris, Emmerich, David, Jacques, Boertes, Forrest. What do you have to shamelessly plug? I know you guys are doing 2 sausages and a mouth.
Don't burn your sausage.
Don't burn your sausage.
2 sausages and a mouth.
No, I forgot the name.
I'm definitely bringing my sausage to that one.
That's a different show. Los Forros.
Yeah, Los Forros.
We'll get onto that in another
Yes, no, we actually spoke about Los Forros. We didn't talk about Los Forros. We had tips, and we basically spoke about Los Forros. We'll talk about.
So I can't believe everybody keeps confirming that was a real thing.
He tried to make it a real thing.
This guy.
But anyway, it's back to me now. So please. So don't burn your sausage. 30th of March at the Hut Bay place. It's called Deus Ex Machina.
We'll put the thing up.
Tickets on Quicket. Then I'm actually touring the Western Cape. So I've got shows in Knysna, Sedgefield, Hermanus, and it's not Western Cape, but Teberga before then. And then, if you're going to see Pops' birthday show on the 8th of June, there's a beer fest called Brew and Bry at Emperor's on the 8th of June. You might as well come through to that and then enjoy that before you go to Pops' birthday.
Yes, that makes sense. Yes.
And everybody's
I'm going to be there.
Yeah, we're going to be there. Yes.
I'm gonna give him a comp.
Please.
I'll give you half price.
Thank you.
And then, of course, also Ferndale on Republic, 25th of May, another Brew and Bry, and Ultimate Brymaster Live on the 25th to the 27th of October. Get your tickets for that.
Oh, yes. Get your tickets. And, of course, Red Ink.
And Red Ink.
Red Ink.
Red Ink.
A Spiel
If nothing else, to see Nunu Kumalo's amazing performance and Bongani...
Fasi.
No, what's the guy's name?
The lead, yes, he's phenomenal. Yeah,
he plays...
Yeah, he's
I don't want to ruin the plot too much, but he plays two different characters. He's so good.
Yo. We can't wait to watch.
Lead?
Yeah.
We can't wait to... I'll show you his picture.
Bonolo.
We're going to put it up.
We'll put it up, you'll see.
Yeah.
He's phenomenal. Someone who recommended I watch Red Ink said, watch, because you think you know this guy, but you must see his performance on this show. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Forrest, the legend. That's all we have time for today. Uncle Chris, you need to come back because we need to talk about Los Forros Volume 1 and PMS stories. But for now, that's all we have time. To the Cheese Gang out there, we appreciate you. We appreciate your love, your support, your comments. And of course, we just want to send a big shout out to everyone out there who's been coming to the shows, who's been supporting all the shows. Thank you so much to everyone that's been buying tickets. Thank you to everyone that's been voting and supporting us in our nomination stages.
Yeah.
And thank you to everyone who, even though they have energy, still drink more fire. We appreciate you guys. From me, the corn that pops.
And the cheese that's great.
We are Robo Pops. And just like Chris's show, two
sausages, one mouth.
Two sausages, one mouth.
Say that articulately.
2 sausages, 1 mouth.
Which one is this one?
We are out.
Robo Pops. I'll be my cheese girl and my cheese boy there. We motivate, then we laugh as well. Stay on brand, never hard to sell. Got real chats, now my LOL. So we both got gang and we blessed as hell. Siyadlala story. Petting on my guest, and nice and moy. You want my bundles, not of joy. Said it's Pop Pops and Robot Boy.
Popcorn and cheese. Yeah? Popcorn and cheese. Popcorn and cheese.
Which one is this one?
Popcorn and cheese. Color